Yeah, student, we have another question of the laws of motion. Let's see what the question is saying in this question and how we can solve this question easily. The question is saying that fixed U shape, question is saying that fixed U shape, a smooth wire has a semicircular bending between A and B. Here is the semicircular bending. Here is the semicircular bending. Okay. This portion is basically in the form of semicircle, right? As shown in the figure. A bead of mass m, here is a bead, this is a bead, and whose mass is basically a small m, moving with uniform speed v, and that means this bead is moving with uniform speed v through the wire, enters the semicircular band at A and leaves at B. Here it enters into the semicircular part and just leave from here. Okay. The question is saying the magnitude of the average force exerted by the bead on the part AB of the wire. This question is asking that how much force or how much average force will be exerted by this bead on the semicircular wire. Now, how we can solve? So, question is asking about the force. Question is asking what is the force, and we know force is equal to nothing but dp by dt. That means the rate of change of momentum is basically force. Okay. So first of all, we have to find out the value of change of momentum, and we have to also calculate the time taken by bead from A to B in this case. Okay. Now we can see that at point A, the velocity of the bead was along left side. So we can say its momentum is along leftward, and its momentum we can say that is equal to mv, or we can say if write in the form of in vector form, we can say initial momentum pi is equal to mvi cap, or we can say minus mvi cap, because at the point of A it is leftward, so we can say its initial momentum is minus mvi cap. And when it will come along the semicircular path and when it will reach at point B, its momentum will be towards right, or we can say its final momentum pf will be equal to mv I cap, because here the direction is towards right, that means positive side, so we will say the final momentum will be positive and initial momentum will be negative, because initial momentum is towards left side, or we can say momentum at A is basically left side and momentum at B is towards right. So at A the momentum is negative and at B momentum is positive. Okay. Now, change of momentum, we have to calculate the change of momentum, that means delta p. We can also write this formula F is equal to dp by dt, or we can say this is delta p by delta t. Delta p by delta t. Delta p is change of momentum and delta t is change of time. So we can say this delta p is equal to change of momentum, that is momentum at B minus momentum at A. That means final momentum minus initial momentum, or we can say this will be what? This will be mvi cap minus mvi cap. So we can say this will be how much? This will be 2 mvi cap. This is our change of momentum. This is our change of momentum, or magnitude wise, if you will write magnitude wise, we can say this delta p is nothing but 2 mv. The magnitude of the change of momentum is nothing but 2 mv. So we have calculated the one part of this force, that means we have calculated the change of momentum, and now we have to calculate the change of time, that means time taken by this bead from A to B, how much time it takes when it will move from A to B. So to calculate the time taken by this bead, we have first to calculate the distance traveled by this by the bead when it travels from A to B, then how much distance this bead travels basically. So distance traveled, if we want to calculate, so distance is nothing but this distance will be equal to the length of this semicircular arc, and we can say the length of the semicircular arc will be pi into r, because for whole circle it is 2 pi r, and here is the semicircle from A to B, it is semicircle. So we can say for semicircle the distance will be how much? Distance will be pi into r, that means means pi into radius. So we can say this will be pi into radius is diameter upon 2, and here this length is given, d. That means this is the diameter, we can say this is d, or we can say this is also the d. So we can say radius will be d by 2. So here distance will be basically pi into d by 2. This is the distance, and we have to calculate the time here. So we can say time is equal to distance upon velocity. So we can say distance is what? Distance is pi d upon 2, and when we will divide this distance by velocity, we will get time. So we can say this time is nothing but pi d by 2v. This is our time, and this is our basically change of momentum. So we can say force is equal to change of momentum upon change of time. That means it will be 2mv upon pi d by 2v. So we can easily write this 2v will go up, and we can say this will be 4mv square upon pi d. This will be the force exerted by this bead during this journey, when it will move from a to b. During this journey, from a to b, we can say this distance is traveled by this bead, and the force exerted by this bead will be how much? It will be 4mv square by pi d. That means our option b will be correct. Okay, thank you so much.